And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100% And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Well, welcome everyone to another edition of the Weighing In podcast with me, John McCarthy, and my partner, the real punk, Josh Thompson. I want to say thank you. I've got the hat on for. You're giving what he is giving the cheers for. The Flagstaff Fire Department, all the people in Arizona putting out fires right now. You guys are doing a phenomenal job. Thank you for what you do for the community. Wearing the hat as a little sign of gesture and saying thank you. Keep safe and do a great job for everyone there. Thank you very much. Josh, we got a lot to talk about other than fires because we don't know anything about fires other than possibly setting them. We do a lot of that on this podcast. I don't know.
Yeah, we do spark some fires on this show. And hey, but there is a lot to talk about in terms of the fireworks. I mean, and this card this weekend is going to be pretty impressive for the UFC, and I'm pumped up for the main event. Obviously, I think everybody is. It's the trilogy and the wrap up of it all, and just, and being involved in a trilogy. And I speak from a lot of experience in that situation and how fun it can be and how upsetting it can be, and and everything else that can go in any direction it could possibly go.
Any direction. There you go.
But it's. I've always looked at trilogies, whether it's in boxing or MMA or any other sport where you've battled it out, several times, and it comes down to that trilogy, and it's just a matter of you guys both know each other very well, you both are very good, and you may the best man or woman win, and I think it's a great, I think it's one of those things that just. That's how I don't want to say star, but like, that's how you start to develop yourself as a star, as someone that's like a Hall of Famer, somebody that can be remembered. You had one of the greatest trilogies in the sport, or you upset somebody when you shouldn't have upset them. And it was just it's one of those moments throughout your career you'll remember forever for the rest of your life. And I'm happy these two are going to get after it this weekend, and they're going to settle the score and see who's going to be out on top. And who knows? It could be a draw, and we could see number 4. That's the greatest.
Dude, you're going to bet the draw, aren't you?
I probably will, because I'm freaking stupid. Because I'm stupid. Oh, man. All right, well, hey, do you want to start with the main event, or do you want to work yourself from the bottom to the top?
I say we go bottom to top on this one.
Let's go bottom to top.
Because we'll go fast.
Well,
nothing really.
I don't want to. Yeah, nothing really kind of gets my attention on the bottom. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of great fights on there. The Akhmedov fight against Brad Tavares.
Alan Amadovsky at the bottom. He's a good fighter. Okay. Seen him fight multiple times. Big power in his hands. It's a good fight. Who is very good. I know sometimes people say Hugh, but I think it's Who is how you say his name. But Amadovsky has got power. It's just a matter of does he settle down in the fight, because he kind of got to the UFC and kind of had a little bit of a, I'm at the big show, and kind of froze. And that happens. It can happen. But he's a good fighter, so that should be fun. But let's go up. Got Brad Tavares against Amari. What do you think of that one? I think it's going to be a good fight.
I think it's going to be a great fight, man. Brad's just got to make sure that he keeps his composure, keeps his defense on point, and focuses on stuffing takedowns instead of throwing punches like when someone's in on the legs. I mean, the point is, sometimes people fall in love with their power. Brad Tavares has got power. He's slick with his feet. He's slick with his hands. He's got good wrestling, takedown defense, but I don't know if it's good enough. But he also needs to just make sure his defense is on point on the feet, because if he doesn't do that, he starts thinking about the takedown too much. That opens up the striking as the takedown's happening, and you can get yourself knocked out. But I look at Akhmedov. He's got power. He's got good wrestling. He's got good technique. He's always he pushes the pace very hard. He's very talented. He's a little stiff. He's a dog, man. He's a dog.
Is that how I like to say it? In what he does. But
yeah, but he's a dog.
Yeah, he's tough. He's tough as hell.
Yeah.
He cracks hard. There's something about Tavares. I just like the way he fights most of the time. He goes out there. He gives it everything he has. He puts it on the line. He's going to have to get a win against Omar, but that's going to be, you look at a prelim fight. That's a great prelim fight. That's one that you can actually look at and say, this is one I'll sit down with a nice cold beer and watch, because it's going to be entertaining, I think.
It's going to be a very hard fight for Brad Tavares.
Yeah.
It's going to be a very hard fight for him.
It's an uphill battle, but
he can't win. But it's
one he can win. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, what else?
Jessica I against Jennifer Maia. What do you think? Come on. Go. Let's hear it.
I love me some Jessica Eye.
I knew you were going to say that. And I know, and I same thing. She's great, but I think Jennifer Maia is going to beat her.
Yeah, and that's kind of where we're at right now. I think Jennifer Maia is I feel like she's a lot bigger than Jessica Eye. I know they're going to weigh in the same. Just
more
the pressure. Yeah, but the pressure, I think, of just the aggression of coming forward. Jessica Eye's not going to be able to take her down. She doesn't want to take her down. But she also, on the feet, though, she hasn't, like I said, I love Jessica, but like she hasn't improved enough on the feet to make me believe that she can stop all of Jessica Eye's, or not Jessica, but Maia's, her stand-up as well as her grappling. And so more well-rounded, I say Maia is, but I'm rooting for Jessica. All
right. Ryan Hall, what do you think? Topuria?
Go for it.
Ryan's that guy, man. I love the guy. And, from the times, even when he was back in the Ultimate Fighter, he's such a good guy. He's so, he's very
Is he a good guy? Is he a good guy?
Yeah, he's a good guy because you know what? He's always just working at being better. He will help people. He will teach you what he knows. He's good at, giving out information. He just doesn't fight enough. Fight enough. That's the one thing I don't know if that's really his fault. It could be just injuries or one thing. Could be people dropping out of fights against him, not wanting to fight him because they look and they go, you know what? There's just what upside is there to beating Ryan Hall because even in his position, he's still not way up in the rankings, but he's a handful for anyone because he's got a damn awkward stand-up, but it's effective. He throws good kicks. He blades his body really well. It kind of uses a karate stance. He throws good hands at times, and you don't really want to go to the ground with him because he's a goddamn wizard down there, and his leg locks are great. His triangle is phenomenal. He just does everything really well, and you're looking saying, man, that's a hard fight, and what are you going to get when you beat him? Nothing really.
Nothing.
That's the hard part. You look and you go, man, it's not like I'm beating a guy that's in the top 5 that's that tough. He's tough enough to be in that top 5. So, it's a hard one to look at, but look, he's going against an undefeated fighter, and Topuria is, and I know I'm saying his name wrong, but Topuria he's talented too. He's got good stand-up. He's got good ground. He doesn't have ground to stay with Ryan, but it'll be an interesting fight.
No, he's good, but the thing is that anytime he starts to think he can get off on the feet, Ryan can hit Imanari roll. He can try to hit some sort of drop down on the legs, and then he's not taking as much damage that way. He has the ability to make it a boring. Unfortunately, Ryan Hall has the ability to make it a boring fight. Be like I've seen that before when he fought Gray Maynard, when he fought other guys. It was just like he's chasing them around. It's like it's one of those positions where you're just kind of like, he's so dangerous in one area that you have to avoid that area. So that means on the feet you want to kill him because he's frustrating you with his karate. You sort of sound like me.
Yeah. So what happens with my ribs?
I did my fume today, though. I did that, and then I haven't had that issue as of today. So I do notice, my nasal drip, man. But I did it earlier today, and so I haven't had as much of an issue today. Anyways, so Topuria, he just needs to make sure that he doesn't overextend, overreach, get himself carried away. Because even if Ryan Hall's to catch the kick, like he can just drop right down on the legs that way as well. He's a master in that in terms of those leg locks and getting to the top position, and look for him to lock up the leg locks as fast as he possibly can. He's dangerous, man. He's dangerous everywhere. On the feet, I don't think he possesses a lot of power. It's that karate style, but it's annoying. And that's what happens, though, is he frustrates you with those Taekwondo style slap kicks. They don't really hurt you, but they frustrate you. So it could be one of those situations where you end up overextending yourself. You end up chasing after him and jumping into something where Ryan Hall can drop down on the legs so fast that you end up getting submitted. You can't take that chance. So it has the potential of being a boring fight. And it's not because Ryan Hall is, it's because Ryan Hall is good. That's why it has the potential of being a boring fight.
That's it.
That's really what it is. So I don't want to say like it's because Ryan Hall fights. No, it's because Ryan Hall is good. And he's really good in one area. And those are people you have to be very fearful of.
Yeah.
Okay, so Nico Price and Pereira.
Okay, this is one that I'm not too sure about. I think it could be a phenomenal fight. I think it'd be really. First off, Nico Price is nuts. Okay, and
so is Pereira.
Well, okay, and that's my whole thing with this is Nico Price is nuts. That Nico will take damage to try to give damage. Mm-hmm. He sometimes is not the guy that you look and say, oh, that's a high fight IQ. Nope. He's sticking his head into places that you go, oh God, what are you doing? But you know, he lives by the sword. He dies by the sword sometimes, but he's tough as hell. And then Pereira is the guy you look and go, man, I've watched him just be as absolutely crazy in a fight, doing dumb things, things that are only going to get him DQ'd in the fight. And he's been DQ'd. He got DQ'd against Diego Sanchez. But, man, he's got so much skill. He's fun to watch. He's huge for the weight class. And in his last couple of fights, and I don't know if it was because there was no crowd or what, he actually fought more calm, more reserved, didn't do all the stuff that, he was known for, is all the flash and everything. And he got wins. And you look and you go, he's a good fighter. So, if he's not doing the crazy, cartwheels and the back flips into things, trying to be impressive and burn energy for no reason, because he does that, Nico's going to get him. Now, he's got the ability to actually, win this fight if he fights it just with his technical skill, because he's a skillful guy and he's big. He's got power. I think it's a great matchup.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I'm surprised it took them this long to put this fight together. They're both nuts. they're both absolutely just nuts. And so I would have thought they would have put this fight together sooner. But Pereira is big. He's enormous for the weight, like you said. And he is good. He's a good fighter all the way around. Nico Price is a good fighter as well. I think it's going to be fireworks. I think with the crowd being back, I think Pereira is going to be his normal crazy nut self and potentially get knocked out or get the knockout. That's what makes him so fun. That's what makes him fun to watch. And I think with the excitement of the fucking sold out arena and the crowd being there, it's just going to amp him up even more to do even stupider shit.
But that's the question. Does he lose his mind and start doing stuff that, it cost him a win against Diego Sanchez, that he was easily winning that fight.
Yeah.
Okay. Lands an illegal knee. Take a look at his fight against Conley. Tristan, who great guy. I love him, but was fighting basically 2 weight classes above what he normally wants to fight at. Last fight was at 145. He fought at 170 against him. And it was everything that Pereira did to try to look flashy. He ran out of gas, and Tristan beats him because of it. Yeah. And you look and you go, you can't do that. That's just not being smart. So if he stays with what he's been doing his last little bit, it's going to be a great fight. Nico's crazy. He's crazy. It should be fun to watch.
Max Griffin and Carlos Condit.
I love me some Max Griffin. He's a just a come forward, want to hurt you fighter, but he is fighting the guy that kind of set the standard on that in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. Carlos is just, I always say it, Carlos is one of those guys. He's a great guy, but when he steps in the cage, he's mean. He's got that mean Henry side to him, and he will stand there and he will bang with you. He's been in there with the best. This is Max's biggest fight by far as the name value and the experience that Carlos brings into this fight. It's a lot for Max to take on. Max has got the skills to, beat anyone on any given night, but Carlos is, I always go with that. He's that wily veteran. He's been there. He's done that. He's experienced so much in the cage. His submission game is well underrated.
It's really good.
Okay. As far as people, not respecting it. And I'm telling you right now, not that Max cannot, roll on the ground. He's not ready to get into a submission battle with Carlos Condit. He's got to keep this thing on the feet or be in the top position, landing strikes and stuff against Carlos to slow him down. It's one of those. This is that fight. This is that time when if you're Max Griffin, you're going, this is the one that's going to set me to that next level. People will understand how good I am if I can get past this guy.
Yeah, Carlos has got more wins than Max got fights.
Yeah, I know.
32-8, 32-13 for Carlos, and 17-8 in Max. Look, Max is tough. He's fun. Yep. I think it's gonna. This could be his coming out party, or it could be his. Okay, I need to do this or this and this to start making my improvements. When you're dealing with someone like Carlos Condit, who I feel like, sure, he's been in some battles and some wars, but overall in his career, he hasn't been the guy that took a ton of damage.
No,
at least I don't recall.
Well, I can name a couple of the fights. You know, he took some damage.
Against Rory, he took a lot of damage, but he came back and finished that fight. He took a lot of damage in that fight.
Yep. Took a lot of damage in the Rory. Robbie Lawler in the championship fight, especially in the 5th round. He took a lot of damage in that fight, in that 5th and final round, but still was there. He had the knee injury against, Woodley. What can you do? That kind of stuff happens, but that's not really damage as far as caused by the fight. It was a step that, it caused it. He got choked out by Damian Maia. Damian Maia was the one that did it first. He had that losing streak, and it was Robbie and Damian, and that was after he got that championship fight against Robbie, and then Neil Magny beat him. But he's been coming back. Court McGee, good person to come back. That was a tough fight. He got a decision in it, and then he got a decision against Matt Brown. Two very tough guys. Court doesn't give any ground. Matt Brown doesn't give ground.
But both a little older in the tooth.
Yeah, absolutely.
The same with Carlos right now. He's getting a little bit older. But, I mean, like, Max, he's that young. I mean, how old is Max?
I want to say 33.
30. I thought he was
35.
31. Whoa, he's older than I thought.
Wow, 35. So I was going to say, never mind. And then Carlos is what, 37? Yep. I mean, I was going to give the age advantage because Max, he fights like a younger guy.
Yeah, he does.
But he's young in the sport. He's not young as a person, which explains it. I guess we're gonna see, man. Carlos is a savage on the ground. I look at Carlos; he's just got so much experience. Like I said, he's phenomenal on the ground. He's got great stand up. I love how he hits his little step walk forward, switch kick to the head. Beautiful job. He does a great job. His left hook is great as well. He keeps his defense up tight when he
dangerous
throws.
With elbows.
Yeah, he's good all the way around. He's good in the clinch and the knees. He's got good takedown defense. He's got good wrestling himself. He's long and lanky. Yeah, I know all of you guys in the comment section love when I say that. So I'm going to keep throwing that shit out there. Let's drink every time I say it. That's right. Cheers. Cheers, ladies and gentlemen. All right. I think that's going to be a phenomenal fight.
So do I. Sean O'Malley got a new opponent. What do you know of Chris Motino?
Okay, so I have a question. John, you brought this up before we started doing the show.
How would I do that?
Why are you bringing in people when you have a roster filled with people that have been lining up to fight him, but you're bringing in somebody from outside to fight him?
You'd have to explain that to me. I just don't.
I don't know. You've got a lot of people that are like, "Let me fight that guy. I want that guy. I want to beat him now. They're all knocking on the door to fight Sean O'Malley, and they're bringing in an outsider to fight him.
What does that say?
That means the UFC's doing their job. They're trying to build who they think is a potential
there you
star.
Go. Okay, they're looking and saying, "Look, we believe this kid can be a star for us. We believe
they're doing their job."
Yes, that's exactly what it is. And people can look at it and not like it, but the UFC as a promotion has got to pick out people that they look at and say, "Hey, this is someone that we can get behind. We believe that not only can this person fight, but they have that thing, that X factor,
it factor.
Exactly. That, you know what? It's above and beyond the ability to fight. It's the ability to gain people on the outside, not only with his fighting, but also with his personality and what he brings. They believe in him, and that's why you're getting the fight that you're getting. They did not want to put him right now in that top 10, top 15, basically, in the bantamweights. He's right there. He's not in the top 15, and again, they're bantamweights. The UFC's bantamweights are stacked. They have got some talent. That is in my opinion, the best pool of talent overall. I mean, they've got great featherweights. They've got great lightweights. I'm not saying anything about it. Man, you take a look at their bantamweights. Well, you just did,
but yeah, go ahead.
But I mean, come on, look at their roster of bantamweights. They have got some just studs in that division, and so I look at it and I go,
I understand
why they're doing
Peter Yan. I started with Peter Yan, Corey Sanhagen, Rob Font. Jose Aldo. I mean, yeah. Garbrandt, Moraes, Edgar, Munoz. Yeah, good stuff, man. Stacked division.
It is.
Who else?
Well, you missed Aldo sitting on top of it, but
who? Sorry, Peter Yan. Yeah.
Okay.
I saw him. I saw Peter Yan. Okay, so yeah, I mean, great. I think it's going to be. I think it's. Look, if I'm the
everything. Look, Chris is 9-4 coming into this. Yeah. Okay, let's be honest. All right, Chris is 9-4. Nothing against the kid. I'm not saying anything bad. It's not only the pressure of coming into the UFC, you're on the main card. Just the pressure that is going to be riding on this kid's shoulders, even though he's going to come in and say, I got nothing to lose. And you're right. You got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
But you will still, the pressure that you will put upon yourself, just based upon the crowd. You know, he's never fought, with a crowd, it's going to be like that. That's a huge crowd for that fight, and just knowing he's on pay-per-view, everything, he's going to have some self-imposed pressure that he's going to have to deal with that. That's not going to help him during the fight, but he's got a lot working against him.
Are you completely counting him out? Are you completely counting him out?
You can never completely count anybody out in an MMA fight. Anything can happen in a fight. He can come out and look really good and land a good shot and hurt, O'Malley and put him away. It's a possibility. I just don't see it happening.
Scroll down there for me, Dave.
Go ahead. Scroll down there, Dave.
Let's see who he's got.
Yeah. So you take a look. Look at all those names you know of that he's beaten. Now, I know of Tony Gravely. He lost to him by KO.
Brennan Seller. I know him.
Damon Blackshear. He's got a win against Damon. That's about all I know as far as the guys that he's fought. So I know guys that he's beat, one he's lost to. But yeah,
I don't know. We'll see. I guess we'll see. Hey, this is your moment, buddy.
Yeah,
this is your moment to shine, man. Chris, if you go out there and starch O'Malley, or if you go out there and sub him, look, the blueprint's already been laid out. Just leg kick him. Just keep going to the leg. Go to that calf kick. When he bounces around, go to the calf kick. Just do your thing, man. Like, go out there and just get in his grill, kick. Get in your grill, kick. Or be defensive. Stay on the outside. I don't like that because he's long and lanky. Haha, I did it again. Because he's long and lanky. So if you get in his grill, make him fight off of his back foot, he won't have as much pop off of his punch, and his kicks won't be as effective either. And if he has to lean back on that back foot to throw his kicks, it's easier for you to catch him. It's easier for you to lift him a little bit and throw him off balance. Maybe get the takedown, get on top. I don't know, but I think this is his moment, man. Chris, this is your moment to shine, and if he gets it done, he gets it done. I just think that when we're talking about the UFC and business strategy, this is strictly a business strategy. Sean O'Malley, they looked at it. He moves the needle. Whether even if it's only like this much, he moves the needle more than most. And so I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of push behind him. And this is an opportunity for Sean O'Malley to rise to the occasion. This is what the UFC is doing right now. They're saying, Sean, we're giving you somebody you should beat from an outside organization that's not on your level. If you don't finish him to open our show, because he's the first fight, I think, on the main card. If you don't finish him, we're going to have a problem. There's a lot more pressure. There's pressure on Sean O'Malley to get this guy out of here. Whereas Chris, sure, there's pressure of the sold out arena. You're in the main card. You're in the UFC.
You know what that pressure is going to be like on him. He's going to say, I got nothing to lose. It don't matter. You're still going to have that pressure.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of pressure on Chris as well. I don't even want to murder and butcher his last name, Moutinho. But O'Malley, though, he's got some pressure on him too. When you're fighting somebody from an outside organization who's never fought in the UFC before, and you're looking to be the star, you got to get guys like this out of there.
True.
That's just the way it goes. That's just the way it is. Irene Aldana and Yana, I don't even want to try to pronounce her last name.
Kunitskaya.
Okay, so I know. Go ahead, John. I'll let you roll with this.
No, it's actually a good matchup. Yana in her last fight, a lot of people were complaining that she won, and I was like, "How are you complaining?" She was actually trying to fight while her opponent was trying to control. That was the big difference in the fight. She should have won. And the one thing that I like about her is she goes out there to try to fight. She wants to fight in the stand-up for the most part, but she'll fight on the ground. I think that Aldana is, got close to the same skill set. She likes to fight on her feet, but she will fight on the ground. This is actually a good matchup. Stylistically, I think it's a good matchup. I think they're going to go out there and they're going to throw bombs trying to hurt each other, and we'll see what happens in it.
I think the UFC knows what they're doing when it comes to matching up fights like this for their main card. What they're doing is they're trying to get, like with the O'Malley fight, they want to see him finish Chris. They want to get fast finishes. They want to get the crowd going. They know what they're doing when it's the Yana and Irene fight. That fight right there is going to be just like the two of them meeting in the middle, throwing big shots, maybe a takedown here or there, but potential of just scrambles and then back up to the feet and big shots and getting after it. They know what they're doing. You're getting ready for the McGregor and Dustin Poirier fight. What am I going to do? And now I'm next after the female fights. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to throw in there Tuivasa and Greg Hardy, just two monsters, and just going to start throwing down. And
you got to love that one.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, that's what's going to happen, and Tuivasa is going to try to, like, walk him down, throw big shots, make him tired, make him gassed, and see if he quits on the stool. That's what he's going to try to do. So you have the female fight. The two of them are going to just stoke the flame, and it's going to be blowing on it, trying to spark that, get the kindling going in the crowd. That's really how you look at it. That's how I look at it anyways. You got Tuivasa, who's going to come out there against Greg Hardy and try to put him to sleep.
Tuivasa's going to try to take Hardy's head off, and Hardy's going to try to take Tuivasa's head off.
Yeah.
It's a question who lands the shot first.
Yep, and then after that fight, you're going to get right into the technique, and the technique is going to be phenomenal. It's going to be Stephen Thompson and Gilbert Burns. I mean, it couldn't be this is a total throwback of UFC 1, UFC 2, UFC 3 of just it's top jiu-jitsu guy versus the top. It is and it isn't. Yeah.
It is, but
top
it isn't.
jiu-jitsu guy versus the top karate style guy. But both are very good in the opposite perspective and the opposite techniques. It's just a matter of whether, one is obviously more favorable. Gilbert Burns is the next level. Stephen Thompson is next level on the feet. But I think Gilbert has a better chance of standing with Stephen Thompson than Stephen Thompson has going to the ground with Gilbert Burns. Just my opinion.
No, I agree with you there. That's exactly the truth. Is Gilbert? I admit
that was like vinegar coming out of your mouth. That just tasted
I'm
like.
so proud of you. I'm like a dad, proud that his young
you mean
son,
a grandpa. You meant to say grandpa, but I get it.
who doesn't do many things right and who doesn't listen, finally gets hey, common sense. Good job, way to go, Josh. I love that.
Did you just use the word common sense? Careful before I call an oak tree in here. Careful before I get an oak tree in here and start talking shit about common sense, buddy.
The truth is, the one element where these guys really are separated is the submission game. There's no way that Thompson in any fashion can hang in a submission match with Gilbert Burns. Gilbert in the stand-up, he's going to have problems with the stand-up of Stephen Thompson. It's different. Yes, he's brought people in, but it's still different when you're in there with that guy. But at least Gilbert has the stand-up skills to stay with him. He does have power, so he can hurt Stephen if he lands the good shot, the clean shot, and that's the big difference. People will land shots on Stephen. They just don't land clean shots. They land glancing blows that just slices by. It barely touches him. His head's moving in the direction of the shot. He takes a lot of power off of it. So he's got to land that clean shot to hurt him, but he does have the power to do that. And so you look and you say, where's the big difference in this fight? Well, the big difference is it's in the ground. But Gilbert has got to get Stephen to the ground and has to, be it whether he's underneath or on top, he's still going to be dangerous in both places. That's not a place that Stephen wants to be in this fight.
No, I agree. I couldn't agree with you more. I think Stephen's got I think he's got the advantage a lot on the feet, but with all the kicks he throws, it's a lot easier to catch those kicks. As long as Gilbert Burns keeps his hands up and he doesn't start getting getting caught up and frustrated into lunging in and trying to do things with punches and takedowns, I think he's got a really good chance of getting this fight to the ground. He's got to be very cautious about how he cuts the cage off and how he got his self feints to get Steven to react off throwing the kick and then go ahead and coming in off of that. He's got to get Steven to react before he tries getting in on the takedowns. Or he could just really just run in and bully him around. But the problem is you could run into something and the whole fight could be over quickly.
There you go.
Yeah, and here's the other thing. He's coming off of a loss. Yeah. And that's sometimes it mind fucks you a little bit. Your confidence isn't what it was going into that fight with Usman. He was like, oh, there's no way anyone's beating me. I'm gonna be the champ, this and that. And I said that from a while before. I said, like, he had that sense of confidence that I was like, oh, he's taking something in there from training when he fought Usman, like, oh, I'm gonna win this fight. He had that, like, the way he was presenting himself in every interview and every little thing, and every time I've heard him talk, it was that he was gonna beat Usman. And so now that didn't happen, I want to know how his mindset is coming into this fight. Does he believe in his chin still? That's the other thing. You know, if Steven starts touching him, does he get frustrated and start trying to lunge in on the takedowns?
That's the word right there.
Yeah.
Frustration is the one thing that Gilbert Burns cannot allow to enter into this fight because he's going to be frustrated. A lot of guys get frustrated fighting Stephen Thompson because they get to a point where they feel like, I can't touch him. Every time I'm reaching out there and I think I'm gonna get him, it keeps missing. He keeps on, stepping to the side, backing off, and the counters come. And so you have got to just tell yourself, don't get frustrated. Just keep doing what I trained to do. And, eventually you will touch him. Just don't expect it to be in the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, somewhere in there. Because it may, but it may not.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, but overall, I think this is probably, outside of the main event, this is definitely the best fight on the card.
Oh, it's a great match.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a phenomenal fight.
Especially
now,
with
let me ask you
sets.
this, though. We've had Stephen Thompson on our show. He's a phenomenal person, great interview as well, and just but does he deserve the title shot next?
Yeah, I absolutely believe he does.
I mean, I heard Colby's next, so Colby's next. But after
Colby's next, yeah. I'm not even equating Colby being pulled out of it. From what I'm understanding, Colby gets the next shot. He and Usman will fight again, and then from that point, you've got Leon Edwards. Okay. Leon had a great fight against Diaz. He did not finish it well, and that does not sit well with getting a title shot. I just look at it and say, you're going to have to prove again, yes, you're on a 9-fight win streak. Maybe, 9 or 10-fight win streak. Mm-hmm. But
I think it's 9.
That fifth round did not look good. That's not the way you finish a fight, so I can understand the UFC going, no, we're going to put you in another matchup. Obviously, if Thompson beats Gilbert Burns, he passes him. Covington would be the only one on top of that. He's already getting the fight. Stephen Thompson deserves it.
I'm a Leon fan, man. I'm a Leon fan. I'm a Stephen Thompson fan as well, but I'm a Leon fan. I would have to. It depends. Look, if Stephen inks one out in a split decision, I don't know if I'd give it to him. I would
if he ekes it out. All right, let's just be honest. Okay, he ekes it out against Gilbert Burns. Mm-hmm. Okay, so he ekes it out. Gilbert Burns is a guy who ranks in the top 3 fighters in the welterweight division of the UFC. All right, and he eked out a win. Okay, Leon Edwards fought a guy in Nate Diaz that is ranked where?
I don't know, but he didn't ink a win out.
No, he didn't, but he almost lost it too. Now he won most of the fight, but not enough to get rid of his opponent, and almost in the end got taken out in that fight. So, which one's worse? You fought a guy and I take nothing from Nate. Obviously, he should be in the rankings and everything. He's not because of frequency of fighting, but you got to go and say, well, if one eked it out and another one almost lost it. Yeah, he won most of the rounds, but then he almost lost it in the end. I don't know. I still go with Thompson. I would make Leon fight another one.
What, yeah, but like who? That's the thing. Like who? Vicente Luque, maybe?
Yeah.
But Luque's already got a fight scheduled right now.
Yeah, he's got against Chiesa.
Yeah, Chiesa. That'd be a good fight too. I guess we'll see. It really comes down to how Steven performs and if he even gets past Burns.
That's true.
That's the other thing. So
it's true.
All right. Let's go. Let's get right into this main event. And let's get right into this main event.
Talk to me.
45 minutes of us yabbering on about other stuff. Let's get right into it. Okay. Look, we said a lot on Saturday when we talked. Sunday morning, actually. We said a lot. And people keep thinking that I was reading some of the comments. I'm favoring Conor. I'm like, I'm not favoring anyone.
I wasn't favoring either one.
This is a pick 'em fight.
I said either guy can win this fight. It's exactly it.
It comes down to the adjustments in which Conor can make. If Conor can make the adjustments, then I think he's going to have a great chance of success. I think he needs to get after the leg first. He needs to dictate that, hey, I kick harder, I'm faster, and I'm also a little bit probably longer than you. And if he can do that and make Dustin think twice about kicking himself, then I think he's got a good chance of winning. But it depends on who gets to the legs first. I think that calf kick's going to be key. And I think Dustin's been so active that he's learned in training how to adjust to it a little bit, whether it's move the shin out of the way with that little back step, or even like as soon as someone goes to kick, just switch your stance right away. So then now they're missing that lead leg. I mean, he could do that as well.
Yeah, but here's one of the things that's being missed here. If you go back to their second fight, that calf kick had nothing to do with the beginning of that fight. What was something that was the precedence in setting for that fight so that calf kick worked? Dustin Poirier took Conor McGregor down. People don't even remember that. He took him down and was on top of him and made Conor work.
John, you're right.
Get himself
I
back
didn't
up.
remember it. I didn't remember it.
Yeah, exactly. Made him work to get back up, got him in the clinch, and made Conor do the thing that Conor does not want to get involved in. And that is a grappling match.
No.
Conor starts to blow up in the grappling match. Now, he did a lot of grappling and he trained, some grappling when he was going to fight Khabib. And you look at what he did, and, we talk about that first takedown that Khabib worked for. And everything that Conor was doing really well to stop all of the little, transitions that were going on. But eventually went back to what he does, started trying to strike. That gave Khabib the ability to make that takedown actually be successful. And that was the start of blowing Conor up as far as his arms get heavy. He gets more tired. He's not in control of the pace. Remember I talked about he has got to be in control of the pace of this fight for him to be able to go 5 rounds. And exactly what Dustin did in that second fight, went right out and right away, took him down, and made him get into a clinch, made him actually carry weight, made him have to kind of blow himself up, his arms get a little heavier. That's called being smart. That's Mike Brown in your corner. That's a game plan of let's do this. Now, is he going to be able to do it again? I don't know. I can't say that he is because Conor might be, thinking, oh, he doesn't want to just go out there and strike. This guy's going to try to take me down. I'm going to be a little bit more ready for that in the beginning. And it can be completely different. This fight can go so many ways because the first fight was completely different than the second fight. The way both guys fought it was completely different. The one thing that I'm seeing in this third fight is Conor is trying to bring this back to that first fight, especially in the game of words. He's trying to pull Dustin Poirier into that nice little, combative game of words and get him riled and get him pissed, which he did not do and stayed away from and actually kind of made it to where he was the nice guy going into that second fight. It ain't the nice Conor coming into this one. He's trying to get inside of Dustin's head again. I don't think it's going to be successful this third time.
Yeah, you're talking about that Conor posted the screenshot of Dustin's wife like sliding into his DMs, but there was no date on it. So let's just remember that there was a lot of times she was reaching out to him, trying to get him to donate the money to their charity.
Yep.
Because he said he would. So once I saw that, I was like, this could have happened right after that fight or right before that fight or whatever it was. The other thing as well is you can go through your stuff and delete it all. And then just, and so it just looks like she was requesting to talk to you. I mean, I don't know what it is, but anyways, but regardless, I'm sure she had reached out trying to get him to donate the money that he said he would donate.
It's called trying to push a button.
Oh yeah. He's going to try to do it, but I think Dustin's been, with his wife since middle school, I believe is what it was. I think he told me that a long time ago when we were training at Frankie's place in Jersey. And, he's been with her, I think, since middle school. He's not concerned about any of that stuff. Not all fighters can say that. Not all fighters can say that. And so, with him, I mean, he's just, I think he's going to let all this stuff just shine on. He knows what he's got to do. He's been posting videos on his social media of him playing ping pong, with Sabah Hamasi and a bunch of other guys, Mike Brown and stuff. And so they're having a great time. He seems like he's relaxed. I know as the fight gets, come up to Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it's going to get a lot more intense and, it's going to start playing on the mind. But if I'm going to lean anyway, man, I'm going to lean right now. I'm going to lean towards Dustin. So everyone that's talking, I can understand what the betting odds are and all of those things. And I'm not going to get into that right now because we're going to do a weighing on the odds for this card. But I really believe that Conor just hasn't had enough time. He hasn't been as active. He's got too many business ventures going on. No matter how isolated he puts himself for this time frame, I mean, I don't think he's had the amount of time to make the adjustments to fight somebody who is super active. Look, when fighters train constantly, daily, just getting better every single day, that is not his lifestyle anymore. And maybe he can train for 8 to 10 weeks in a period to get yourself back to, say 80% of what you were. But remember, we've in every sport, when you're talking the top 2 or 3 people, you're talking less than 1% or 2% is what separates them. And right now,
not even close to 1 or 2%.
Yeah. I don't think he's that. I don't think he's 1 or 2% away from what Dustin was. Maybe he's going to prove me wrong. He may prove me wrong, but I just don't think that he has been as active. He has not been as active. What am I saying? No, I think he hasn't been as active. He hasn't been as active. And where has he been training? I know I saw him in California. He's been posting videos in California. He was in Dubai a little bit, and then he's been all around, And so if you're traveling all around, you're not really focused on the fight itself. Sure, you're focused on it, but it's not the same as just hunkering down, being in one camp, and just getting better every single day. Why do you think people go to Big Bear? To isolate themselves away from all that stuff. I don't think he has the ability to do that. His idea of isolation is okay, I'm going to sit in my room and count my money. So it's my idea. You know what I mean?
Boy, that's not a bad way of isolating.
No, it's not. But I really believe that he's got his hands in so many different things, and which he should. And I think a lot of people should be happy for him for that. He turns nothing into something. And he's been successful at it, and he's got a great management team around him and all those things with Audie and Paradigm and all those guys. And so, I just don't know if he has what it takes anymore to get back to that level because his hands are all out there and everything else. And so we're going to see, I think we're going to find out on Saturday, but I think that Dustin being as active as he is, he's a lot more durable. I think he's going to have a phenomenal fight, and he's not going to let any of that shit get into his head. And it's going to be a good fight, man. I think it's going to be a good fight. Like I said, I lean towards Conor in the first maybe round and a half, 2 rounds. Then after that, I look at Dustin. The rest of the way.
I would say that's the way to look at it. Josh, you sat there with me and Audie, who is Conor's manager, and we talked about, hey, focus. Focus is everything when it comes to this type of fight. And when your focus is not 100% on that fight and you have these other interests going on and your focus starts to, lend, themselves out in certain percentages towards those areas, that can be the difference in the fight. And really it is, I said in my opinion, he needed to get back to John Kavanagh, get back to Radio, and get back to the guys that, he came up with and that were with him, during the lean times and everything. You cannot be in control of your camp.
No.
Someone else has to be. You have to believe in that person, and that person's going to take care of you, and they're going to run your camp, and you're going to do what they tell you on that day. That's the way it's got to be with someone. in that situation. We'll see if Conor was able to do it.
Yeah, you would think with Peter Queally and James Gallagher and all
he's
those,
got the people.
Yeah, he's got them all available to him. He's just got to bring them in and make sure that they're all around to train with him. Yep. Dylan Dennis and those guys. If you want to get back to that group, I 100% condone it all. I think it'd be an amazing job for you to do that with Kavanaugh and everyone coming all back in. But you're taking them away from their families. You're taking them away from something. They're going to have to be you've got the money to do it. But it's not even that much. They would probably do it for free. You know what I mean? Like, as long as you brought them out and they'd have to spend their own dime to get out there, they would. They speak very highly of him. They're all friends.
They love
with
him.
Yeah, they do. And so when it comes to that type of scenario situation, I just don't even know if it's not even so much the training partners or the coaches. It's just a matter of, like you said, and Audie didn't say anything that made us think that he wasn't. He even said he needs to focus. He just needs to stay on task. If he stays on task, he's like, he's got all the skills and the ability to beat him. Yep. But I agree with you. You can't run your own camps, man. And never have you been no fighter. I've never seen one fighter that was extremely successful run their own damn camp.
It's tough because there are always those days you go, man, I can't do one more. And someone tells you, yeah, you can.
Yep.
Yeah, you can. You can do one more. Do it. Let's go. And they drive you past that point. And it's those times, it's those moments that when you have to dig deep in the fight, it's there. It's there for you because you had to dig deep in that camp, and it'll be there. And when you didn't, sometimes it's not there. And it's just the difference maker. And so hopefully, Conor did everything the way it was supposed to be done.
It goes back to, you need that person to push you that little extra, like you said. But the reason why you need them to push you that extra is because you're never going to be able to train, even with that person, as hard as the fight's going to be. Never. Because when you start to put, like, your training partners, they see you're tired, they're like, okay, I can rest too then.
Yeah.
Because they're not as in good shape as you.
They're not trying to beat you.
Yeah, because they're not trying to beat you. They're not trying to knock you out. But they're just as tired as you because they're not in fight shape majority of the time. Yeah. They're out right outside of camp, or they're just jumping into their camp, or, you generally don't try to train with someone that is in a camp also, because you guys don't want to get hurt, but you also need someone to push you, and you can't go hard on them because they have a camp too, and they have a fight as well. Yep. So you need those people, and coaches do that for you, but your coach can never get you to train as hard as the actual fight, because as you get tired, that fighter pushes you to save your ass. And then as they get tired, you push them to beat their ass. And so when it goes back and forth, you're using more energy than you normally would in a real camp or in a training session. But regardless, it's going to be I think it's going to be a good fight. I think we're going to get 3.5 to 4. I think 4.
I say it's somewhere in the third. I'm going.
Yeah, you're saying somewhere in the third?
Yep.
All right. Well, hey, let's hit weighing in on the odds. We're going to go ahead and hit this, and we're going to go to mybookie.ag, mybookie.com. Use the promo code weighing in. They'll give you some extra spending cash, a little extra money. You guys can bet on these fights here coming up, and they've got a couple prop bets as well. But realistically, we're just going to get into the odds. So Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor. Dustin Poirier is a -130, so he's favored. Conor McGregor is a plus 100.
What's that telling you? Because it didn't start out that way. A lot of money starting to go on Conor. I mean, on Dustin Poirier over Conor. It started off, it was basically even. It was basically an even fight.
Wow.
So there's obviously more and more money is coming in on Dustin Poirier because people are going with the last fight. Doesn't mean that's the way it's going to be in this one, but that's the way people are looking at it.
Yeah, I got you. All right, the over on it, though, is Dustin Poirier's over is -200 of 1.5. It's
not Dustin Poirier. That's the over.
Oh, sorry, the over. Sorry.
There you go. Over 1.5, meaning that goes past 1.5. You've got to put 200 to win 100. So, yeah, and I agree with that. But because I believe that, that you got to figure the first two fights. The first one ended in the first round. The second one ended somewhere halfway into the second round, we'll say. So, you're looking at that, and right now that's, giving you good odds. But I would say, I actually think it's going to go to the over in this third matchup, but we'll have to see.
All right. So Jessica I and Jennifer Maia. Jessica I is a +160. Jennifer Maia is a -200.
Yeah, see, that's one that I really look at, and I would say in that fight, personally, I think I would go with Jennifer Maia, and I would probably say I'll put 100 down to win $50.
Yeah. Interesting. Scroll down for me there, Dave. All right. Well, let's see if we can find the there we go. Pahea and Nico Price. It's at the very top, Dave. So Pahea is minus 165 and Nico Price is plus 135.
And that's one that Nico Price can definitely win that fight. He's just, I don't want to say he's crazy, but he's crazy. He's fun to watch. He will take chances. But Pahea's got a lot of skill, big guy for that weight class. I don't know if I would reach out that far. Minus 165, that's saying that he's pretty good favorite. It's not 2-1, but Nico Price at plus 135. You want to take a chance? Nico definitely has the ability to win the fight. So I always like if you have an underdog and they really, you're looking, it's not one of those, well, anyone can win a fight, but no, this guy actually, he can win this fight. That's what I would go with the underdog. And so you can say that Nico Price, he can win that fight, and you could get it, plus 135. Not bad odds.
See, what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to go ahead and take the Carlos Condit over Max Griffin at plus 160. I'm going to take that one, and Max Griffin is favored at minus 200. I'm going to take the Carlos Condit.
Absolutely, I
plus
would too.
160.
Based upon experience, based upon all of everything he's done. Not that that Max can't beat him, he definitely could. But go with the experience and say I'm going to say as an underdog in that 160, I'll definitely lay down $100 to try to win 160.
Yeah, I would as well. And then the Sean O'Malley and Chris Motino, I would probably go with Chris Motino because why not? It's a fight, honestly, man.
I would tell you why not, because they got O'Malley at minus 900, and you've got Chris at plus 450. You bump me up to plus 650, and I'll bet Chris. But I'm not going to do it at 450. I'm not going to bet it.
Why?
Because O'Malley, I believe, is going to beat him. So I'm not going to take the chance on the big upset. I'm going to go and say, nope, O'Malley's going to win. 25 bucks.
50 bucks. 50
just
bucks.
20.
Get 50 bucks.
Just throw 10 or 5.
I'm going to bet on every single one of these fights, and whatever money I start to win, I'm just going to bet on the next one. I'm just going to keep betting it and rolling into the next one.
Well, that's called a parlay, mister. You need to start just doing a parlay so you win more money.
And then the one that obviously there's two more actually, but the one that I would love to bet on just for fun because I'm stupid is the Greg Hardy and Tuivasa fight.
Yeah.
So you got Greg Hardy at plus 100 and Tuivasa at minus 130.
Which is telling you it's very close in the way they're looking at it, but I'm going to say that the experience of Tuivasa, the ability to control more of the fight in different areas, and just a little bit more of a big old crazy guy, that is going to take chances. I believe in Tuivasa in this, even though Greg Hardy's a great athlete, but I think I would go with Tuivasa at minus 130. You going to go with Hardy?
Nah.
Oh, damn it. That was going to guarantee I was right.
No. I would love to bet on that fight, but it's just too close. It's not really worth my money.
Oh, that's the kind I like to bet right there.
That's not worth my money. Stephen Thompson minus 155 and Gilbert Burns is plus 125.
Look at that. The guy who is rated higher is the guy who is the underdog.
Yep.
Gilbert Burns is the underdog in that one. That's pretty indicative of the way people are betting. That's crazy.
Well, he's coming off the loss. That's why he's coming off that knockout loss. So, but if I was to take that bet, I would probably bet on Gilbert Burns.
That's the kind that you look at and you say, I'll take Gilbert Burns in that because him being an underdog again, an underdog that has a serious chance of winning that fight.
Mm-hmm.
Not?
I agree. Scrolling down, is there any fights that we maybe missed?
No.
That are worth talking about?
Yeah.
Nope. That's the end of it.
Nope. All right, guys. Well, hey, go to mybookie.ag, use the promo code weighing in, and you get a little bit extra spending cash for these fights and everything else. So you got the NBA Finals started tonight. Hit them up. Bet on those as well. You got the wrapping up, I think, pretty soon here of the NHL Finals. But the Habs won. They took one. You said it was going to wrap up that next game, but it didn't, and it stayed on. And it was good stuff, whatever. Yeah,
I'm a little disappointed. Tampa Bay will wrap it up this time.
They will?
Canada's about to cry. Canada's going to cry.
Oh, man, Tampa Bay went back-to-back, man. They went back-to-back. They'll go back-to-back. Be insane, though, if the Habs come back and end up winning.
Ooh, that would be huge.
Huge. All right. Well, that's the weighing on the odds with weighing in Big John McCarthy and Josh Thompson, of course, the guy on the controls podcast, Dave. Well, hey, let's. I think we're getting into some fan questions, aren't we?
Yeah,
we have a couple of news items first before we
go with the news. Talk to me about the news, Dave.
So the first one is the video that circulated via Colby Covington of Dustin dropping a sparring partner. And Colby posted it out, and basically his comments were that Dustin is not a nice, charitable guy. He is a piece of shit person. Let me show you this video, Mike, so you can set it off, blah, blah, blah. And then he goes through, shows him. Watch what he says in his face. And no, he's rubbing it in the kid's face after he drops him. What's nice and honorable and charitable about that? And then Dustin comes out and replies and says, "This is a pro fighter with 20 wins." And that was basically Dustin's response to the video.
Pro fighter with 20 wins. Well, is he not in the UFC? Where is he at? Who is he?
Doesn't matter. Well, it could be a pro fighter, that he's a kickboxer. It could be a lot of things.
Well, why would you bring him in for Khabib?
You're not bringing him in for Khabib. You're bringing his name was Khabib.
Oh, his name was Khabib?
Oh, I'm guessing.
No. It said he brought him in to help him train for Khabib.
Where did you see that?
Scroll up a little bit. Scroll up a little bit. Isn't that where it said right there? See, it says right there. You just dropped the amateur who came to help you train for Khabib Nurmagomedov, which, while you are training with amateurs, and then that's what he said. Look, I'm not taking anything Colby has to say to heart.
Yeah, hold on. Why is it that Colby's saying he's an amateur and Dustin's saying is a pro fighter with 20 wins? So who are you going to believe?
Yeah.
Which one is it? One of them's lying.
John, I'm not here to pick sides, my friend.
I am.
Okay? I know
you must pick a side.
Okay, but let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
If he's a pro, I'm not saying Dustin's wrong. If he's a pro fighter with 20 wins, is he not in the UFC? Is he not in Bellator? Where is he? If you have 20 wins, you should be in a bigger organization. And why wouldn't you just say, I mean, I get why you didn't say his name. Now that as I was saying it, I understand.
Okay, there you go.
But
first off, hold on. Let's take a look at this in reality. What happens in the gym stays where?
Stays in the gym.
Okay, so now who's the guy that's not following that basic code of conduct?
Yeah. Did you see Gamebred's response?
Yeah, I saw his response. I
love that Gamebred said.
Right away, man. Video. Maybe we should have posted when you got hit with something and went down.
Yeah, when Dustin dropped you to the body, we should post that too. It's fucking great.
And again, this is what we're talking. There's a basic code of conduct that, hey, what happens in the gym stays in the gym because it's training. And, you can even look in that little match, sparring match with Dustin. The guy gets hit with a shot, and in a real fight, he wouldn't have gone down. All right. But it's sparring, and he got buzzed, and so he kind of, stumbles, and he just sits himself down, and that's a normal thing you see all the time in sparring, in the gym. It's nothing special. It doesn't mean that you would have knocked the guy down in a real fight. It's, just like what you were talking about earlier. There's a difference. There's a difference in speed. There's a difference in, things that work in the gym don't work in the real fight. They don't work in the cage the same way because people are more into, I will not give up. Where in sparring, it's sparring. If I get hurt, I'm going to say, whoa, time. Okay. Yeah. Get me out. I get hit to the body and I can't breathe. Guess what? I'm doing the wave off and I'm walking, right? So I don't fall down. It's just, it's training, and it's part of what sparring, what happens. And this is why you don't come out, you don't put videos like that out. You don't talk about it. And it's when people say things, well, I saw it in the gym. Doesn't matter what you saw in the gym. What matters is what happens in the real fight. That's when you can absolutely take a look at someone and give a good evaluation of someone's skill set. I've seen too many guys in the gym. They can beat everybody. And when you put them under the bright lights, the whole thing changes, and they can't beat anybody because It's for real, and it's a different atmosphere. It's a different pressure. I don't even look at that. I look at that, and I'm saying right now, Colby, you screwed up. You shouldn't have put that out. You're trying to be cute. It's not. You're making a mistake.
John, do you think he really gives a shit?
No, I don't.
He's not at that gym anymore. He don't give a fuck. He ain't ever going back either. They're not welcoming him back, by the way.
No, exactly.
So I don't think he gives two shits. I mean, he's really just trying to talk himself into a potential fight with someone later on that could potentially make him more money. He's I mean, I know everyone's going to be like, oh, he's a stupid idiot, but he's a smart guy. When it comes to the way he's marketing himself, he knows what's getting under his skin. He's hoping that one day Dustin will go ahead and come up to his weight class and he can fight him at 170, or he's going to get that fight with Gamebred. He's going to get that fight with Gamebred.
I would say that's the one.
Yeah, he's going to get that fight. He's going to catch all that smoke.
Yeah.
So that's going to be
about time.
Yeah, it'd be a fun fight. I'd love to see that fight, though, by the way.
There's 3 fights sitting there for George. Very simple.
Oh, yes.
All right. You got Nick Diaz coming back. That would be a beautiful fight. Him and Masvidal, been around forever. Awesome fight. Leon Edwards. George Masvidal hit you in the back.
Yeah.
And when you say, he hits you with a shot, there is an automatic story right there. That's one that you can put him against. And the last one is the guy he used to train with, Mr. Colby Covington.
Yeah.
That would be a great matchup. So there's 3 fights. Masvidal's sitting in a very good position, in my opinion. I love what he's done. I love how he's handled it all. Oh, it's great, man. It's awesome.
All right, what else you got for us, Dave?
So as John called it earlier, there is a bidding war right now for this Fedor fight. And 2 of the more recent names that have come out is Fabricio Werdum wanting the rematch, and then Jake Hager, former WWE champion and current All Elite Wrestling Inner Circle member.
What's All Elite Wrestling?
That's where Jake Hager performs.
God, no. I've done a promo video for him when he fought.
I was just going to say that.
He's a cool dude, man.
Stupid.
I like Jake, man. He's a cool dude. Great person to be around. Look, Fedor's not the same Fedor that he was, and we're not going to sit up here and try and pretend that he is. Fabricio Werdum is locked into a contract with the PFL. I don't know why he's even in the talk. I don't like the fight.
They say he can get out of it.
Of course, his manager's Ali, and Ali's part of that organization, so of course he can. The other 2 guys, Alistair and JDS,
Junior Dos Santos.
I'm not big on that either. So I'm not big on those fights. I don't know, man. I honestly, I just don't know. John, you know what I'm thinking, man.
I know what you're thinking.
I just don't.
All right, here's the thing. This is what I'm going to say this. And first off, Jake is undefeated, but he has not fighted. He has not fighted. Jesus Christ.
That's a great one.
He has not fought.
Fighted, huh? Fighted?
That's some good.
Oh, jeez.
So he has not fought a high caliber of competition. All right. But he has, absolute credentials going into the amateur wrestling, not the pro wrestling. I'm not talking about that.
Yeah.
The championship of the WWE.
He was out of the University of Oklahoma, I believe.
Yes, he did wrestle.
All-American.
Fantastic. Had 30 wins his senior year. The guy can wrestle. But the one thing I will say, his last fight, and I can't remember the guy's last. I want to say Casal, but Matt. I can't remember what his guy's last name was. But that fight, it said something to me about Jake Hager.
Yep.
Because Jake Hager in that fight was in a fight, and he was in trouble, and he was getting hit with shots. What was the guy's name?
Brandon Carlton.
Oh,
Calton.
Brandon Carlton. Okay. Calton.
Yeah.
Calton. I thought it was Matt.
Oh,
So Brandon Calton, Jake was trying to take him down times. Calton was hitting him with big shots, and it got to the end of the second round, and Jake Hager could have quit. He could have said, that's it, I'm done with this crap. Okay? And he sucked it up, and he went back out there, and he took more abuse, and he gave abuse, and he showed that although he doesn't have a great record as far as a lot of fights, he's not been doing this that long, he's a fighter. He's got a fighter's mentality. He's got a fighter's spirit. He's a tough dude because when he could have laid down, when everything was going against him at a certain point, he could have said, screw this. I've got my professional wrestling career. I can go back to that. He did not give an inch. He went out and he performed to the best of his ability. He never quit. He never stopped, and he got the win. And you look and you go, all right, you proved something to me, Jake Hager. You are a real fighter. I got nothing but respect for you.
Yeah, John, he took some fucking huge shots in that
Oh,
fight.
he did.
He took some huge shots. And I was actually surprised because it was 1-1 going into the third.
Yep.
And I thought like most people thought, if you're gonna quit, this is the opportunity to do it. And I thought possibly he would. You and I were calling that fight.
Yeah.
We were looking at each other going, I'm surprised that he is still willing to keep going. Because like you said, why? I can go back to my pro wrestling career and not take this kind of abuse. You know what I mean? These were real shots. And he came out there in the third, put on a great performance, took some big shots in the third as well, but he dished out more.
Yep.
And for a big guy, what is he, like 6'8"? He's almost 6'4". He's taller than 6'4".
He's about 6'5".
6'5", okay. I was like, he's taller than 6'4". He's a big guy.
Yeah.
You know, and super nice guy, great person, fun to be around.
Yep.
You know, he's got a chance. He's got a puncher's chance because let's just be honest. Fedor's 44 years old.
Yeah.
And his chin is not anywhere near what it used to be.
No, it's not.
You know, and so
it's not. But
I
this
don't
is a guy that's not going to knock him out.
I think at this point though with Fedor, it doesn't matter. It could be if someone connects the chin, it could be over quickly. You know, 185 pounder could knock him out.
Ooh.
You know, I mean, well, he's not a big guy. Remember that. His fucking Jake Hager's hand is probably bigger than Fedor's head. You know, like he's fucking enormous. This guy is big. And if he just accidentally clubs his head at all with his forearm or anything, it could knock Fedor. Fedor's tiny. He's maybe like 220 right now. It's like he's shrunk also too because he's older. He's just like, don't get me wrong. Like
the muscle mass is different.
Yeah, I don't know. I just at this age, I want to see him fight in Moscow and I want to see him retire. John, I've said it.
Well,
that's it. I just said what I was thinking. I want to see him fight his one opportunity in Moscow and I want to see him retire. I just have so many great memories of watching him fight.
Yeah.
And I haven't had those as of lately. Honestly, his last flash of a great fight to me, which was just fun. It wasn't a great fight, but it was fun. It was him and Chael. Because there was a lot of back and forth and bridging and throwing and knockdowns. And it was fun. It was like that little bit of the old Fedor still in there. And, you know, it was a fun fight, you know, entertainment-wise. But
same thing with the mirror fight.
Yeah.
The mirror fight was good.
That was quick.
Yeah, it was. But there was Mir kind of tagging him, going after him. A beautiful throw by Fedor, which absolutely pissed Frank off and kind of got Frank coming after him harder. And he landed a beautiful shot that put Frank out. I mean, but both of those were good performances.
Yeah, no, I think they were good performances. But for me, the Chael fight had a little bit of everything. Takedown defense, throws, you know, big shots, dropped Chael. Chael got back up. Chael had his chance to get on top, got the back.
Chael jumping on the back. That didn't work. What was that?
Didn't put any hooks in, slides off. You know, it was one of those, it was very like, I don't know. It was just very entertaining. If you're at home watching, you're like, God, don't do that. Oh, shit, he fucking did it. Oh, no. It fucking dropped it. It was one of those kind of fights. Like, what the hell is going on? This is crazy. So it was one of those fights. Anyways, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I think in the bidding war, I don't want to see JDS. I don't want to see Overeem. I don't want to see Werdum. All three of those guys, I don't want to see that fight. I guess I could get behind the Jake Hager thing because the AEW crowd and all the other stuff that comes along with it. But they're going to fight in Russia. So I don't know. Maybe pick a Russian guy for him to fight. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. John. I mean, I have a good question. The winner of Tyrell Fortune and Matt Mitrione. Let's see him fight the winner of that.
Well, you know, you say that, and I look and I go, if Matt Mitrione beats Tyrell Fortune, which
there's a good chance.
Well, there's a possibility. I could see them saying, okay, Fedor wants that rematch. He wants another shot at Mitrione. I said that would be the fight. If he doesn't, and Tyrell Fortune beats Matt Mitrione, I see them giving it to Jake Hager since he's asking for it.
Yeah,
I really do. Instead of bringing somebody else in, I think they're going to give it to Jake.
Yeah, I just don't think they should bring anybody else in. I think they should just use what they have on the roster.
Yep.
That's
you can go with Karatanov.
That would be a fun fight. I'd actually like that fight.
They have not ever fought.
Which is crazy, right?
I know. All those times they're on the same cards.
Yeah, all the pride stuff. Karatanov's just big, man. He's huge, though.
But he's a boxing set. You know, most of his style, he likes to box.
I would have liked to have seen the big country, Roy Nelson and Fedor.
Yeah,
and I know we cut Roy Nelson, but I mean, I would have liked to have seen that fight. It would have been just a fun fight. Funny to, you got Fedor and big country. All right, we're gonna jump into some fan questions here, buddy.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right.
Oh, Dave, can you speak into the mic so our comment section stops hating on you, please?
Yeah,
Turn your
right
volume up a little
into the
bit.
mic.
And also, try to speak English. I heard you guys fucking help create the damn language. Can you try to speak English?
Speak extra quiet this time, just so you can.
This guy.
Can hear me. I'm gonna get the Scottish pattern now.
See, didn't even hear what you said. What did you guy go? We'll go and get I'm gonna go
deliberately through Scottish.
You're Scotland there. Freedom. Oh
god.
This
all right,
guy.
Fan question.
He's the last tough guy that came out of your damn country outside of Paul Craig, huh? Fucking William Wallace. All right, go ahead.
J Storm asks, can a fighter have his coaches and stool stay out of the cage in between rounds and just stare down his opponent for the full minute? Any stories of similar situations and how did it turn out?
What?
Say that one again. I'm sorry.
That didn't make any sense.
Yep.
The fact that you even pulled this up as a fan question is just ridiculous.
Well, Josh, we posted a fan question poll and this was...
No, but I'm saying you chose this question, though. Go ahead.
Can a fighter have his coaches and stools stay out of the cage in between rounds and just stare down his opponent for the full minute? Has it happened and how did it turn out?
Yes, he can. Yes, it has happened. And how did it turn out? Doesn't matter. To sit there and say, how does it turn out? A fighter, what people need to understand is that minute of time, that is the fighter's time. That is the coach's time with the fighter. And that is the fighter's time to do it with, whatever he wants with his coaches, as far as reasonable, as far as the commission sees. There is a representative for the commission with him. But I have seen where the representative for the commission, being the inspector, has come into the cage while the coach has stayed on the outside. He's handed a water bottle over the top. Never walked in the cage. The fighter never sat down. The fighter, in fact, was staring at his opponent the entire time. And start the fight. And it's what you do. I mean, they can do whatever they want with that time. They can come in the cage. Obviously, there's only 2 people allowed in the cage under the unified rules at one time. And being, it could be a coach. If it's a cut man that comes in based upon a cut or something like that, then, one of the coaches goes out. But that's the fighter's time. And if he wants to stand up, he can stand up. If he wants to sit down, if he wants to lay down, he can do all those things. But as soon as he's told to get to a certain position to start the fight, then that's his time to get back to, the position to start the fight. But yeah, they can do what they want.
Next
question comes
You don't want to
from,
talk about that one, huh, Josh?
No.
Next question is from Alan Scott, who asks, Uncle Chael said judo is one of the least effective martial arts in MMA. Thoughts? ?
Uncle Chael's right. Like, it's effective in terms of throws, but it's not effective in terms of, finishes. And, I mean, how often have we seen someone get thrown and knocked out on their head? Maybe a handful of times. It's not, in terms of, in MMA, sure, it's great to get in the fight at the ground, but not a lot of judo players, really good judo players, are good at submissions. So getting them to the ground is great, but then finishing them. Now, the newer evolution of judo, they've started working in a lot more submission attacks right off the throw. But you have to remember, if you throw someone and that's not an ippon, you have 25 seconds or something like that. I don't know what the exact. You have a certain amount of time on the ground to work a submission or work to his position, to get the finish. But if you don't get it, then they stand you back up and they have you go again. But judo itself, up until just recently, I would say probably 10 years ago, they found there was a big evolution of these guys attacking submissions. Once jiu-jitsu started playing such a factor in it, they would throw you and transition right to the submission. But in terms of for MMA, if it's just the throwing portion of it, it's not effective in terms of finishing the fight. But it's good at getting the fight to the ground. It's harder to get him to the ground because there's nothing to grab. You know, Carl Parisian was phenomenal at it. He was great at getting the fight to the ground. But Carl also had a very good attack. He was also very good at attacking the jiu-jitsu position.
But what was he?
He was a judo player.
Oh, okay. Look at to sit there and tell me that, oh no, judo's not a good base for MMA. Bullshit.
That wasn't the question.
Bullshit.
That
Just
wasn't the question, John.
Really, what was the question?
Was one of the least effective, not a base. It was one of the least effective. If I'm going to choose kickboxing,
is it least effective?
Yes.
Bullshit.
It's not the least. It's not. It's one of the. It says one of the least effectives. Yes, it is. It is
Really?
one of the most least
let's
effective.
See. Okay, how well did a girl named Ronda Rousey do with judo in MMA?
But didn't I say the submission part?
Wasn't that her base?
I said the submit. We're not talking about the base, John. We're talking about the least effective. And
okay,
I said a handful.
Was it least effective for her?
There has been a handful of judo players in the game. Okay. And not all of them have been successful. You've had 2 or 3 that have been good enough to be successful. And the ones that were successful were the ones that had jiu-jitsu backgrounds as well. That was my point. I just said that. I'm not arguing with you in terms of I thought it was
judo
great,
and
but it's not as
are what?
Are what? Grappling.
They're the same. Let's just be honest about it. No. Okay. All right. Give me the history of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu there, Josh.
I very rarely see.
Give me the history of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You're a black belt. Give me the history of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
So you're telling me that Hoist is a judo.
Give me the history.
You're telling me
of
Hoist is a
Brazilian
judo
Jiu-Jitsu.
black belt. You're telling me Hoist is a judo black belt. I never seen him throw a judo.
I didn't say he was a judo black belt. I said,
but you just said they were the same, John. You just said they were the same.
Jiu-Jitsu. I didn't say that. I said, give me the history of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Dave, play back the tape.
And you can't do it because you're sitting there talking about something. Look at Asai Maeda, who is the guy that taught Carlos Gracie. Mm-hmm. Okay, came from who? Like Jigaro Kano, who was what? The man who came up with judo from jiu-jitsu. Okay, Asai Maeda was the guy that taught the Gracies, and he was a judo player. That's what he was. Now, I'm not saying that the Gracies and Elio didn't change things a little bit, but judo and jiu-jitsu are very similar. The Olympics changed judo. They changed it into a throwing match. Instead of using newaza and using the ground and all the submission techniques are the same. They're the same damn thing. How can you sit there and say it's not one of the best bases? It's a great base.
This was never about a base. This was about the least effective in MMA. That was not the question. You can't change the question to fit your narrative, John.
I'm not changing to fit the narrative. You're sitting there saying that it's not effective. It is what fucking Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is to a point.
I understand that part of it all. But the people that come in, all the judo players that come in, you've had a handful, not even a handful. You've had 3 of them that were successful with judo in the sport. Kayla Harrison being number 4. But the rest of them the rest of them were not as effective. And Carl Parisian, sure, he was great at it. But he was not a Ronda Rousey level either in terms of his success in the sport. If you're going to say, well, who was successful, it would just be her. No other judo player has been successful in the sport outside of her. How
can you say that Parisian was not successful? He ended up in a position to fight Matt Hughes for the welterweight title and was pulled based upon an injury, and things went downhill for him from there. But he was all the way at the top.
I understand what you're saying. I get it. We fought on the same cards a couple times. You know, he lost his second fight, I think, to GSP, I believe. Or no, sorry.
No, he lost to GSP.
He lost GSP, but there was another guy he lost to on the second card. Or no, it was the first guy he beat. Sorry, he beat the first guy and then he lost
Dave
GSP
Strasser.
the second time. Yeah, yeah.
You remember that one.
Well, we fought on that. We fought on the same
Yeah.
card together both
Yeah.
times. Yeah. No, I'm saying that sure but he wasn't the Ronda Rousey level. And my point is that if I'm
he didn't
going
get
to
the championship
choose,
level.
what's that?
He didn't get to the championship level. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
I just look and say, look, the techniques of judo and jiu-jitsu, they're the same techniques. When you talk about an armbar, it's an armbar. When you're talking about triangle choke, it's a triangle choke. They're all the same submission hold.
okay.
Are they not?
But I will do this, is I will back you in the fact that the Olympics changed judo.
Yes.
So then therefore it's changed the effectiveness in the sport of MMA, because when they throw, the control on the ground is not the same as if
I agree.
it would be jiu-jitsu. So that
But
I can
you're
back you on
seeing-
that point of it.
But you're seeing a change in judo where the ground is starting to come back.
I said that. that earlier. Thanks for repeating.
Good for you.
Me. Thanks for repeating me.
All right, I'll stop arguing with you.
Oh man,
I had to make it hard on you.
you sound like Miss McCarthy right now. She's always getting on me. Jeez. All
I
right,
love it.
let's
The
have
real
at it.
question
What else
is-
you got for us, Dave?
The real question is, how does it feel that Uncle Chael just caused that rift between you two guys?
Uncle Chael.
Uncle
I love it.
Chael.
I love me some Chael.
Chael
man.
says a whole lot. Chael also says that Sambo is not real. There is actually no Sambo in the world that's not real. Chael says a lot of things, and I love me some Chael. I'm not putting Chael down, but Chael says a lot of things.
I think it's
Chael will say whatever he wants just to stir the bucket.
I love it. I love it. It's fun.
Next question is from Kerry Hafiz, and they ask: is Darren Till overhyped? He has beaten a lot of top. He hasn't beaten a lot of competition, even at welterweight.
I don't think he's overhyped at all. I mean, but he's always fighting some of the top competition, so they're not easy to beat. And there's that fraction of a couple times he's made mistakes, but he was winning the fight, And so, like when you get to that top level of fighters, it only takes one or two mistakes, and the next thing you know, you're looking up at the lights. Separation is less than 1% of the ones trying to get there to be the champ. He's always up there in that top talk, whether it's welterweight or at middleweight. So no, I don't think he's overhyped at all. I think his social media is fucking underhyped.
Phenomenal.
He's fucking phenomenal. He's so damn fun. I love it. So if you guys don't follow Darren Till, you guys are stupid because he's so fucking great.
All right, let's look at Darren. Darren Till has what, 3 losses in his career? He lost to Whitaker, I think, in his last fight. He lost to Woodley in the championship fight, and I know he lost in the knockout loss to Masvidal. Who else has he lost to?
Those
he
are the
was
only
beating
3.
George. Yeah, but he was beating George.
Yeah,
and George
but
caught him
those
with
are
a
those
switch
are his
punch.
3 losses. Now he's got wins against Donald Cerrone. He's got a win against Stephen Thompson. It was a close fight. I actually thought Thompson won, but it was a close fight, and I can understand where it could go either way. He's got big wins. He's got a win against Kelvin Gastelum, who I think is still a tough ass fighter, a very good fighter. So I mean, he's proven himself. I don't know what you want from people, man. Yeah, he doesn't win all of his fights. Okay, look at the guys he lost to, all of them studs when he fought them. So I agree with Josh. Darren Till is a very good fighter. Obviously, there's some holes in his game that certain people can take advantage of, but you've got to be able to take advantage of them, and that's not easy to do. He's a tough dude, and he's got really good stand-up. He's able to control distance and range and light you up really well. So I go with Darren Till's a hell of a fighter.
Look, there's only like 1 or 2, maybe 3 fighters in the world that have been to the top that have like 1 or 2 losses or no losses. You've got Khabib, you've got John Jones, you've got like Khabib, John Jones. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, Amosov, Yaroslav Amosov. You've got people that have got to the top, but they have no losses or 1 or 2 losses.
Not very many.
You go back and you look at a lot of the greatest fighters in the world. They've got 10, 9, 15 sometimes losses. How many? BJ Penn has, I think he's a 500 fighter now. Randy Couture has what? 15 losses?
11
or something like that. So didn't mean to, I'm just throwing out there. But I know that it's sometimes in the double digits. You're in the double digits and that's common because you want to know why?
Because you're fighting great fighters all the time.
The best fighters all the time. That's why. It's like sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you show up to the event and you're like, fuck, I'm not feeling it. Can I grit it out or can I not? That's the way the game goes, man. No, he deserves to be up there in that conversation and that talk. So, I mean, even though I thought he lost the Stephen Thompson fight, but still, I mean, he's in there, man. He's in that conversation. So good stuff.
Yep, absolutely.
Follow him on social media. He's fun as fuck. It's so fun. Go ahead.
The next question is from Joe Frisco, who asks, what do you think of Showtime removing Morning Combat episode 171 because they said their opinions and criticized the Bellator card? It was Bellator 261.
What I think is that Showtime owns their show. And so
There you go.
Showtime pays their check. So if Showtime wants to remove something from them, Showtime can do that. We've had these comments before. You know, there's things that we talk about on this show that we know is going to sometimes upset Scott Coker and Showtime a little bit. You know, we try to be as unbiased as possible. I'm biased towards the people that I've trained with, and I'm a homer towards the AKA guys, and I let that be known. But outside of that, like we do the podcast, so we don't really have to answer to anybody. And don't get me wrong, you know, I've gotten some calls like, hey, why do you got to say that about our guys? Or, you know, or I got to, you know, and this and that. I get it. But it's like, look, I'm trying to, and we're trying to run a business here. We're trying to be fun, entertaining, and talk about the fights the best way we can. And so, but no one owns John and I. We own this podcast. And so, we try to be as fair as we possibly can. I have a hard time. Now, I think everyone that listens to this show, I have a hard time not speaking what's on my mind. And a lot of people are like, oh, you're a homer, and you guys may look at it the wrong way. I seriously think Bellator has amazing fighters. I think they have a better roster than the guys that were on Strikeforce's roster in terms of talent. I believe that. I truly do. But I also agree that the UFC is a phenomenal promotion in terms of the talent that they have there as well. They've got double the fighters that Bellator has. But when it's talking about these events, PFL is great and One is great. Ryzen is great. I love that all these promotions have places for fighters to fight. The less promotions, the less people can make a living, man. And this is what this is all about. I love having more promotions. The more promotions, the more money that's being distributed out to fighters who want to live out their dream. I love that. But for them, with Morning Combat, they answer to Showtime, you know, and I didn't really, someone had sent me a clip about, you know, what they had said. And I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, you guys work for them. So you have
the brightest thing in the world.
Yeah. It's not my place to say that.
Well,
but
no,
people,
it all comes down to this. Let's put it out here and let's be honest about it. When you and I decided to do this podcast, we said, let's do it. So you put together your studio. I put together my studio. That's all money out of my pocket. That's all money out of your pocket. No one paid for it. We paid for it. And when you're talking about thousands of dollars to get something going. And then we have a guy in Podcast Dave who's working with us, who's not getting paid. He's doing this at the time. He's doing it gratis because we're not making money and we're trying to, you know, get things going. And we're not getting paid this entire time. Morning Combat. I love the guys. I love Luke. I love Brian. I'm not saying anything bad about it, but they made a decision to go with having Showtime own their show, pay them money for it. So they're getting paid right off the bat. They don't have to worry about, you know, not getting paid. That it's a job for them. But with that comes the fact that there's someone over them that can pull their show. I didn't pull their show. Josh didn't pull their show. Showtime pulled their show. That's because they said something that Showtime didn't like. Okay. You know, and that's it's their choice. They can do that. And I don't think they can do that often. It's telling them, you need to be a little careful. You know, we talked about this kind of before because, you know, it was sometimes, and I've done the same thing. I'll look at a card and go, it's crap.
Yeah.
And it ends up being a great card. All the fights are phenomenal on it. So I've learned to say, you know what? This is, you know, not one of their bigger shows, but, you know, we're going to see what it really turns out like. That's all you got to do. You don't sit there and before the fights take place, you decide, I'm going to say, this is crap. It's doo-doo. Because that's what I think the comment was. And I don't know if that's what got him pulled or whatever, but that was the comment. And I understand what Luke was doing, but he's trying to be, I want you people to see that I work for CBS, I work for Showtime, but I'm going to be honest. You can do that. And with that, they can pull your show.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. You're the one that has decided this was who you were going to work with. Okay. And so if they look and say, we don't like your work for that week, pulling it, that was the whole thing, like with Joe Rogan and his show with you go into Spotify. He said, hey, you don't have control. I have control over my shows. And then they started pulling his shows and there started to be that friction back and forth. The ability to have the control of what you do, that's a big thing. It's a big thing because it does allow you to be honest about, hey, this is the way I feel. You may, the fan out there or the listener may not agree with you at all, and that's okay. That's their, that's their place to be in that. But this is the way I feel. I don't say anything that I don't actually believe in. I say what I believe, and I'll stand by it. And if someone can prove me wrong, then I get proved wrong. Okay, I'm sorry. You know what? He was right. I was wrong. But
yeah, I bring up Rogan and Brendan Schaub a lot because when I did Brendan's show, I've done his show a couple times. I've had a lot of conversations with both those guys about our podcast and about the growth of our podcast, and they've led me in the right direction a bunch of times. And it really just comes down to the fact that it all started with the fact that John and I have had people reach out to us trying to buy our show or at least get 50% of it. And every time I asked Joe and I asked Brendan or I asked anybody else, they're like, don't do it.
Well, hold on. What was the first thing that I told you when we started? Real simple.
We own it.
Josh, I'm not selling to anybody.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. That will not happen. I'm telling you, no one is going to own this but you and I. Now, that doesn't mean I won't go into business with somebody, but I'm not giving percentages to anybody.
Yeah, and that's what people, like with Brendan, right? Sure, he works for Showtime, but they don't own his show. That's why he can say what he wants. But he also is very strategic about what he does and how he does it. But Showtime sure has him on the payroll, but they don't own his shows. Then they don't own any of his shows.
Brendan's a lot smarter than people give him credit for.
Yes, very true. This is very true. But anyways, regardless, he's in the podcast business. He knows what he's doing in terms of with the Morning Combat guys. Look, I like Luke. I like Luke a lot. He said a lot of nice things about me throughout the years.
Just changed my mind about him.
Yeah. And Brian Campbell, BC. I've really only talked to him the one time I was on his show. I was busting his balls. I got a lot of hate for it, like I ruined the show or something. But we were busting each other's balls before we even went on air. So there was a lot of back and forth that was going on then. I like them. I like their show. I like everything about them. But they don't own their own show, and so that's where it becomes a problem. So I can't say much more. What else you got for us there, Dave?
Next question is from Chris Edgar, who asks, Big John, fighters usually go through a pat down before walking into the cage. Have you ever had a fighter or heard about a fighter attempting to bring a weapon or any other banned object with them into the cage?
No one's ever tried to bring a weapon into the cage with them. What that pat down is for is to make sure that the fighter's not trying to cheat in putting Vaseline somewhere that it doesn't belong, or not having a mouthpiece, or not having a cup so you can't start the fight. So that's what the check is for in the beginning. You're looking at the gloves, making sure the gloves have not been altered in any fashion. You're looking to make sure that the tape is in a position where it's not going to cut. If it slices across, it doesn't have an edge that's going to cut the fighter. So these are the things you're looking for real quick. You're looking at the length of their fingernails real quick. You're looking at the length of their toenails, making sure they've got a mouthpiece, making sure that they have groin protection on. And then you're checking to make sure that they don't have Vaseline behind their ears, that their hair's not greasy. And this all came from fights that have occurred over time. Josh had one against Clay Guida. Not that Clay put grease in his hair, but he did have hair product in there, which makes it slippery
as fuck.
And then you have a problem. So these are all the things over time that we've learned and said, okay, we need to check this, check that, check this. And that's where that check came through. But no one's ever, and at least not with me checking, and not that I know of, has anyone ever tried to bring a weapon into the cage. Nah, that has not happened.
All right, go ahead. Next one.
For Josh, among all MMA promotions, past or present, which championship belt do you think looked the coolest?
Look the coolest. God, the Pride one was pretty damn fucking cool. The Pride one was pretty damn cool. It was huge too. It was huge. I mean, anyways, it was awesome. Pride, I would probably say the Pride one. But overall,
King of Pancrase was actually pretty cool too.
That's true as well.
That was a cool freaking belt.
The other one that I thought was kind of cool was Shoot Though. Remember they had the little skinny narrow one that was small?
That was roundish, yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of ovalish. It was like an oval, but it was pretty dope. It was pretty. And I think it was red, right? Wasn't it red with the silver?
It had the red Shudo in the middle.
Yeah, the red. It was pretty awesome, man. I think, yeah, that was a nice one. Yeah, I mean, yeah, pick and choose. But I liked the big one that Pride had because I remember Mark Coleman holding it up. Was it Mark?
Yeah, Mark had one. He did the Grand Prix. The Grand Prix.
So I don't know if that belt was different than their normal, but regardless, they're pretty dope.
And
I've never been a big fan of gold, and so all the other American promotions are all gold. The Pride one was like a silver.
Yeah,
you know. So I like that one. Yeah. All right. What else you got?
Next one is from Drew Berry, who asks, how do y'all see a George versus Colby fight playing out, and could you put that as a 5-round main event on a pay-per-view, not being a fight night?
Could you put it as a main event on a pay-per-view? Yeah. I mean, it's hard to when you're taking a look at all of, just like Josh was talking about with the UFC. UFC, what people need to understand is they have over 600 fighters under contract. The UFC is putting on a show almost every week. All right. They're going to say somewhere, I think last year they were, fighting to do 42, before, that they were up into the 45s and stuff. So you're talking a 52, week year, 45 shows. That's a lot of shows, but they have to do that based upon every fighter on their contract is guaranteed, if they're not released, that they will get 3 fights in that 1 year's time offered to them. That doesn't mean that if they don't take it, they're not owed 3 fights. They were offered it. You didn't take it. Now you're owed 2. Okay. So that's how that plays out, but they have to do all of these shows based upon how many fighters they have, and it's a matter of, I'm lost. What was the question again?
Are you serious?
Can it be a 5-round main event on a pay-per-view?
5-round. Okay.
So everybody knows. Stop, John. No. Stop. So anybody at home listening? CTE John is in the house right now.
There you go.
Love it.
But so when you take a look and you look at all the champions they have, it's tough for them. They have basically 12 to 13 pay-per-views per year. And so those pay-per-views, when you're talking about, all your champions, both male and female, and getting them how many fights a year, okay, they're guaranteed that 3. Doesn't mean that they're going to do it, but it's hard for you to not have a pay-per-view that doesn't have a championship fight on it. So what you could see possibly with a Colby versus George fight is same as they did with the Leon Edwards versus Nate Diaz. You have either a co-main that's a 5-round fight that they both agree to. We're going to do a 5-round fight. They could have that as a co-main with a championship fight on a pay-per-view. But I would pay. Look, I think that George Masvidal against Colby Covington, that's a fight I'll pay for anytime. I would love to see that fight. I cannot wait until they finally put that fight together.
It's never going to happen.
Oh, what?
Oh, I thought he said GSP and Colby, not George. Did you say George?
George.
Oh, I thought you said GSP. I was sorry. I was reading one of the next questions. Started off with GSP.
Down
now I have the CTE.
But this one question has screwed us up completely.
No, I don't think they can make it a pay-per-view main event unless there's a BMF title or some shit like that on the line. But that'd be about it. Yeah, I mean, it would be a 5-round co-main event. I could see that happening, but I think it's foolish though too for guys like Colby and him to fight 5-round co-main events. Like, you guys are stupid. Just like, you're not getting. I mean, I know it's a great fight, but how much more are you getting compensated? How much more are you taking off your career by fighting? You know, by training for 5 more rounds and then fighting 5 more rounds. Nah, no. And if I'm George though too, it doesn't favor me to fight Colby Covington 5 rounds. Doesn't favor me. He's never been known, like, he's got good cardio, but he's never been known to go hard 5. George has. So it's like, Colby, he can go hard 5. He may not crack an egg with his punches, but he'll wrestle fuck you to death. And he'll get on top of you and grind you out. And we saw that Usman can do that to George also, on the feet, press him against the fence, you know, and those type of things. So it could happen, but I mean, I'm going to always go with George because George is a Strikeforce guy, so I'm going to lean towards that dude anyways. But
there goes that Homer side again.
That's the Homer side. Hey,
at
least I'm upfront and honest about it, man.
That's it, man.
I'm upfront about it. Okay, go ahead. What's next, Dan?
All right. Since Josh can't stop yawning and it's past John's bedtime, we'll do one more from Dustin.
Well, give
Brown.
me some good ones. Which ones you got?
Well, what do you mean? Which ones have I got? I've got the ones on the
How about
screen.
Dustin Brown right there? What's Dustin Brown? It says, hey, question for both. What is that?
Go. Do you want to read it or want me to read it?
No, you read it. I can't read that far. My eyes don't fucking.
Dustin Brown asks, hey, question for both. Have you guys ever thought about doing a live fight companion like Joe, Eddie, and Brendan have done in the past? Think it would be cool to listen to you guys break down a live UFC card together. Great content. Keep it up.
Yeah, we did it once.
Yeah, we did it. We did it once for Khabib. For Khabib and
Justin
Gaethje,
Gaethje.
right? Yeah, Justin Gaethje. Yeah, it was fucking hilarious, man. I was fucking shitting my pants, man. Like, fucking, what are you doing? Fucking wrestle! Oh, it was rough, man. John was just cracking up the whole time.
I was having fun with
He's
it.
okay. I was like,
relax, dude, relax, man. He's doing fine, right?
What are you doing?
Yeah, we would do it. The real problem for us is let's be honest, we're on a 3-way. We're all living in different places, and we don't have a one set TV and a studio that we're all going into and be able to watch it on that same place and talk and stuff. So we're talking about trying to get TVs in each place that have it. It's just not an easy thing. I have my little studio. Josh has his little studio. So it's not the simplest thing because timing on them is a little bit off.
It is.
So that makes it rough for us.
Yep. Because when I watch, like, I'll have the pay-per-view in one room and I'll be streaming it on my phone for the UFC thing or whatever, UFC Fight Pass or ESPN Plus, whatever it is. And they're on different times and not by a little bit. It's like 8 seconds.
Oh, sometimes up to 30 seconds.
Yeah. It's long. Yeah. It's a long. Yeah. So I don't want to be watching the fight with John and John's like, oh, fuck, he dropped him. And then like 8 seconds later, fuck, there he goes. He's down. Like, you already know what's coming. Kind of ruins everything. So
yeah, I
think maybe one day when we're all in the same city for something, who knows what, we'll go from there.
One more.
All right,
let's go.
What else?
Let's see. S. Maggie asks, GSP said he was out of his contract in 2 years. How long would it be before John Jones is out of his contract? How much does the UFC pay him each year he's under contract, even if he doesn't fight?
Doesn't pay him anything. They don't pay him shit. If you don't fight, you don't get paid. That goes for all fighters. If you don't fight, they don't pay you. You're not on like a monthly stipend. Like, yeah, that's not happening. And then how long until he's out of his contract? Well, every time they asked him to fight Francis Ngannou and they turned it down, that extended his contract 6 months. So every time they offer you a fight and you say no, that extends your contract until you sign a bout agreement. So if they come back and they say like in a month, so I'll give you a perfect example is this. I was supposed to fight Pettis for the title. Pettis gets hurt. So they asked me if I wanted to fight Kabaloff or whatever. And I said, nah, it's cool. I'll pass. I was like, I'll wait for the title shot. Joe Silva gets pissed off at me and goes, you'll fucking sit on the sidelines for 6 months. I don't give a shit. So I tell Joe, I'm pretty good with my money, man. I can wait longer than 6 months. I'm cool with that. Week later, he called. I said, unless it's somebody in the top 3, don't call me. So he calls me back a week later with Benson Henderson. I said, I'll take it. I said, those were my stipulations. Fight me against somebody in the top 3 and I'll fight him. He calls me again to fight Ben. I took Ben. It backfired on me, but it is what it is. With John Jones, he either wants the money or he wants to make sure he's fighting the right opponent. Every time he turns it down, they will just extend his contract for 4 to 6 months. And then every time until he agrees and signs on the dotted line on a bout agreement to fight somebody, that contract will continue to be extended until he signs a bout agreement to fight somebody else.
Yeah, it's not the UFC contracts do not just run out on time.
No, they don't.
Sorry. And when you're John Jones and you're fighting all those championship fights, every time you fight, for the title, your contract is extended.
Yeah, 2 or 3 fights.
Yeah, exactly. So, this is, if you go back to, people think, they're sitting there and they listen to one side of a story. And you can go back to when Cyborg lost to Amanda Nunes and said she wanted a rematch. And then Dana was saying, no, she doesn't want a rematch her. And she's saying, I do want a rematch her. What I don't want is to fight for you. I don't want to be under contract with you. And if I fight Amanda Nunes and I win, I now am obligated to give you so many more fights. That's what I don't want. And, this is, you can sit there and say it any way you want. When Dana says, okay, we will give you a 1-fight contract. Now he's saying that because it's true. Mm-hmm. He's going to give her a 1-fight contract, but in that 1-fight contract, the stipulation in it is if she wins and she is the UFC champion, she automatically owes them 3 more fights.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she didn't want. And so, these fight contracts can go on. And this is the problem with, and this is why a lot of people want what is called the Ali Act, where a promotion doesn't have so much control over the fighter and they have the ability to go off and to fight in other promotions and things like that. I'm not sitting here trying to side with anybody. I'm not trying to side, with, the fighters that want the Ali Act or the ones that don't. What I'm telling you is there's no perfect in anything, but when you look at the contracts for the top fighters, they just can't walk and go somewhere else. The UFC is smart enough to have a contract that says, hey, we are your promoter. You want to fight, we will give you a fight. You don't want to fight, that's okay, but you can't go fight for anybody else either. You can sit on the sideline. You can sit there and hold out all you want, but when you come back and decide that you want to fight, it's going to have to be under our promotion because we hold the contract on you. That's just the way it is right now.
Yeah, they started doing that because of BJ Penn.
BJ
Penn beat Matt Hughes. Then he bounced and started his own promotion called Rumble on the Rock. And then he flew in all the best lightweights he could to beat
Jens
them
Pulver
and all the
too.
Gracies. Yeah. So he
Jens
did.
Pulver
That's what he did.
Dropped their belt in a trash can.
Yep. So that's why they started doing that. So they started doing that based on the fact that BJ Penn beat Matt Hughes and then bounced out, started his own promotion, and it got a lot of clout. That promotion ended up being sold. They sold that promotion, Rumble on the Rock, to Elite XC, which then Elite XC went to Showtime and became the next promotion that was a big shot that ended up blowing up into Strikeforce and Showtime merging a little bit and doing business together because of a fuck up contract with Frank Shamrock and Renzo Gracie fighting. That whole situation blew up into the two promotions being on Showtime. Elite XC folded because they spent so much damn money. And then,
not spent. It's called blew.
Yeah, they blew a lot of money. So that went under. So, I mean, yeah. Anyways, all right. So what else? Is that it?
That's it.
That's
it. We're
everything.
done with that.
That's all we got. Go to ProWrestlingTees.com. ProWrestlingTees.com/weighing in. Use the promo code and still active. Is that still active?
Yeah, and
still active.
So and still is still active. So get an additional 20% off on ProWrestlingTees.com/weighing in. You guys missed out if you didn't get one. The Independence Day shirt for weighing in that dropped all for the last 3 weeks now. And if you guys didn't pick one up, you guys missed out. It's a limited edition. It's gone. John got the ugly red one. I obviously got the white one. It looks a lot better and pops off screen a lot better. That red one
does not work when you're eating barbecue, baby.
Your red ones. Should have got the maroon one, buddy. No, it doesn't. It doesn't work when you eat barbecue. But I only wear this thing to special places like my studio. So it's like, no, I just got home this late last night and I just saw it came in the mail while I was gone. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. Also, hit the subscribe button. I've noticed, look, we've been at 100,000 likes now for about 3 weeks. We're only up another 1,000, so 1,500 somewhere in there. So if we can, try and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, share our videos to everyone. I'm going to get back on and hit that notification bell too, because we're changing up sometimes coming up. We've got a lot of big news coming up, hopefully in the next, what is this going to drop tomorrow? Hopefully for the next show. So you guys will be some fun. We'll be talking the pay-per-view. We're talking the winner of the Conor McGregor fight and Dustin Poirier fight. So, John, what else you got, buddy?
Last thing I want to say again to the firefighters out there, be safe. Thank you for what you do. You guys are awesome. And to everyone out there, I hope you enjoyed the show, and we will, Joshua, we will see ya.